Hey, what's up, all you rippers? I got a little review here for you today. First, though, I want to apologize. I am not feeling 100%. I've been sick for almost a month now. Kind of relapsed in the middle there. I think I got two different things. But anyhow, yeah, my throat's a little scratchy and stuff, and I'm suffering a lot of like brain fog. My head's not working real great. So, anyhow, what we have here is the new Flysky ProArt PA01. And here she is in all her glory. Basically, everything here that I'm showing you right now is what comes with it. You get a USB cable. It's a good quality heavy duty feeling one. It's kind of stiff though. But it comes with a receiver like most Flysky radios, or I think all Flysky radios do, which is really nice of them. Saves you having to buy another $20 receiver. But it does not, and I'll tell you this here in a minute, but you cannot use this with ELRS if you flash this over to ELRS. So, put that back in the box. Then I got this bag has sticker sheet, the manual, QR code, I think on the back of this to get to the online manual, and quality control with sticker or tag. I think that's what it is. I think it's got the QR code on the back. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember. And then this little cable is for connecting their module on it. I don't know if their module snaps into this and this just bypasses it or not. Like it has two module styles. Not sure, or if this is just strictly for power. Not 100% sure on that. But anywho, all right. There are two things I highly wish they would do, and I do wish they would, like when you buy a pocket and you flash the pocket or whatever, the pocket will come with like a couple pre-set up, it's still got the wizard, but you got the switches will work on it. Pocket's one of the few radios I've ever had that actually did. Well, I mean, that has OpenTX. This is an OpenTX problem. It's not a radio problem. This is, or EdgeTX. This is an EdgeTX problem. OpenTX did the same thing. But yeah, anytime I ever bought one of them radios, they're just a nightmare to set up. I hate EdgeTX. It kind of sucks. It does everything, but it's just too complicated. I mean, it wouldn't be so bad if they would offer you some uploaded models already ready to go for the radio. Something with like for a multi-rotor. I mean, that's what they do with this. It comes with one that says multi-rotor, and all you gotta do is bind the radio to your quad and it will fly. Why the devs don't do that for other radios, I don't know. My Zorro was a monster to figure out. My T-Lite was a monster to figure out. All them old radios from 10 years or 6, 7, 8 years ago. I started about 10 years ago with Flysky. Well, I always liked Flysky. They're great quality. Their older protocols don't work nothing like Express LRS. That's why I'm glad they finally went to it. I told them a long time ago, I said, dude, you need to go to Express LRS. That's all there is to it. And anyways, I told them, I emailed them that, and I said, if you ever do, I'll buy your radio. Well, they did. The day they released this, I ordered it. So, or at least the day I saw the videos drop on it and found out about it. The box comes in just pretty much basic box, Now, the company I got this from was a little bit more surprising. I have never heard of this. Let me see if I can wake that up on the tablet. But it's called SourceSkyRC.com, and I had never heard for them until I searched for this radio. And I'm thinking it was going to be from China. It was going to take me 2 weeks to get it. But no, this crazy thing showed up within a week. Within the week. A day short of a week. Actually, I think the videos dropped last Wednesday. I ordered it Wednesday, and the thing was here by the following Tuesday. So, anyhow, I may not have ordered it till Thursday. I'm not totally sure. Either order it Wednesday or Thursday. Or I'm not, no, I definitely ordered it Wednesday. The video may have dropped on Tuesday. But whichever one it was, once I figured out, I was like, screw it, I'll just put it on my credit card. And got it. It's a little more of expensive. It's the most expensive radio I've ever owned for sure. Well, I do have the Dark Knight, and I have almost just as much money in Dark Knight, but I picked this up used and then refurbished it. So, I mean, I only paid like $75 for it, but I had to fix a bunch of switches and that were broken, and the gimbals looked like they were pretty well had. They were kind of gross looking. So I tore everything apart, cleaned it all up, and now it's working good. But it's just too big. It's too big. I wanted something smaller that I could throw in. And by the time you put on the case and you got modules, everything hanging on, I'm not a fan of having batteries and modules hanging off of radios. I want everything just to be, boom, ready to go, like that. So this will be my daily driver. Now, I want to talk about the nano gimbals. Now, when I got this, I was like, what the heck? I held it up to something else. And, I mean, the gimbals are just unbelievable how teeny tiny they are. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm not going to like this. That's why one of the things I have the Bumblebee. And I don't know what the difference is, but I do not like the gimbals in the Bumblebee. I tried for a couple weeks flying it, and I just could not get used to those gimbals. The definition on it's were less or whatever. I do believe that these sensors in here are probably the same sensors as this. So, because they do have the best sensors apparently. But anyhow, the stick ends are adjustable. Let me pull one off here. They come with those little, just little regular plain hex nuts. So you got to, once you have it screwed on, it was screwed down. They were too short. I needed to lengthen them, so I brought it up. But then when you tighten the jam nut, it will, you can't take them on and off, you know, or it'll be a different height and stuff every time. Well, I found that I have a sorted inserts, and the inserts are longer. Now, this is my biggest gripe about this radio. Why these, I mean, doesn't that look normal? No, those are only 2.5 millimeter threads. They are not, they're M2.5. They're not M3, like a normal radio, or some higher end radios have M4s in it. But yeah, no, this is an M3, or it's not an M3, so you're stuck with these stick ends. Now, I have ordered a die, and I'm going to make my own shaft. You know, I got a bunch of 30 millimeter M3 screws, and I'll cut the head off, and then I will, you know, grind off the threads, and then re-thread it with the smaller threads on one end that will screw down in, and then I will make my own stick ends that are removable to come on and off. But anyhow, so that I can fix that issue. I just prefer a little more aggressive. These are probably the best stock stick ends I've ever felt on any radio, and I've probably have tried around 30 different radios. I've had my hands on just about anything over the years in the past decade. So they're not bad at all for thumbing or pinching. I mean, my other radio here, I got what are these, Axis Flying or something like that, or Axis, I forget what brand these are, but I bought these when they first came out a long time ago. These work good, but when I do get hot and sweaty out, I have had my thumb slip once or twice on them. So these feel like that would be about the same situation. So I will want a little more aggressive if I'm planning on keeping this radio. That is my biggest gripe. And all they had to do was to do a M3 insert there instead of an M2.5. Why they did that, I do not know. I don't know how hard that insert is to pull out and put a new one in. I don't want to mess up my gimbals on a brand new radio, so I will just make an adapter shaft, or make a shaft that will screw down in there that I can just run any stick end I want on it. So it's not a big issue for me. And now if I use a different stick end, of course you're not going to be able to just take them off and stick them in here. Though I wouldn't normally take them off. I've never had an issue with the ones on here. So when I just toss that in a bag. Now I have a pouch that this can go in. Then I will throw it in my FPV bag. The other one I just threw it in there, because I was a cheap radio. I didn't care if the stick end, or the gimbals got broken on it or whatever. I guess what happens is, like, if you drop it and it lands on the gimbal. Actually, I have done this before. I dropped the radio, I was changing the battery, the cover was stuck, I popped off, the radio went flying out of my hand, and when it landed on the ground, it landed on the gimbal and busted it. It was an old Flysky radio, and you can get Flysky gimbals dirt cheap, so it wasn't no big deal. But yeah, the plastic actually that holds on that one end of the bearing, you could actually lift the whole gimbal up and down in there when it broke. And then it also is known that you can bend the shafts coming up out or whatever. But that's kind of why they went to these screw-on ones and why they make it removable. Now you got a screen right there too that could be broken. But it comes with, I forgot. It also comes with a screen protector. I already put it on the radio. So I'm glad I just remembered that. It does come with a screen protector and it has it on there, but just kind of I just saw that. I had to look this up. I'm like, what is that for? They are going to be coming out. I couldn't find one, or I would have ordered it already, but they have a dock that you can just walk in instead of looking for a cable. Like, if lights aren't on, you walk in the door coming in from flying, you can just walk over and set your radio on a dock and it starts charging. I love that feature. Or I'm going to love it. It's going to be awesome. So I can't wait to get a dock for it. I think I might wait and actually get some flight time in on this. Make sure that I like everything about the radio once I get new stick ends and everything going for it. But yeah, actually I don't know how easily I'll be able to sell this radio because it's so expensive. I do believe they are a little too pricey. I think $150 would have been a better deal on that. For $200, I think it should have had aluminum gimbals on it. So, all right. Now, I kind of want to do some comparisons and explanations here. I have only used this radio on a sim so far because my switches ain't set up. And anyhow, right here, you got two nano gimbals. I have a couple radios here that have nano gimbals. I'll talk about the Bumblebee here in a minute. But anyhow, I flew with the Radio Master. I had one myself. I had the Zorro. I like the Zorro better, but I hated the batteries on the Zorro, and I don't like modules and batteries and crap hanging off a radio. So I actually tore my Zorro apart and put 18650s inside of it. You had to gut it and glue everything back together, so it's kind of like a permanent job. Anyhow, you just got an 18650 in there with wires soldered onto it because there's no clips or anything to snap them in. You got to glue the battery covers on. You got to cut out a bunch of the screw standoffs and stuff to get them in there. But I got it in there. My buddy actually still has that radio, so I sold it to my buddy, and he loves it. That it was a good little radio. They just need to do a V2 version with upgraded battery, and I would have preferred a little bit smaller screen. This screen here is plenty big enough. Once you set them up, they're done. I never go back in and change anything after I have them set up. So unless I got to finally do an update or whatever, but that's not too often. Once I get it working the way I like it, it usually pretty much stays that way until I upgrade or whatever. So, but what I did was I took the Zorro here and I measured, and I put both stick settings all the way down. I do have the extender on here because the stock one's just too short, and I measured it. I had my I took a ruler or scale, and I stood up here sideways going across, and then I measured from the tip, the one side, and I measured how far over just by eyeball basically, and I believe this was 17 millimeter, and with these all the way down it's 17 millimeter. I like it more up around 19 to 20 millimeter. So that 2 millimeter makes a huge difference on the way it feels to me. Anyhow, with this extender, that's where this gets over. And what I did was I used that insert instead to raise it so that I didn't have to jam nut it every time I wanted to take them on and off. But I didn't think that these were going to be big enough at first, and I was scared. That's why I got the measure, and I'm like, okay, it's good. Because I have the Bumblebee, and the Bumblebee only goes over about 15. It's way smaller. So I got to have like I got those Radio Master extenders on it because the shafts are too short on the Bumblebee. And anyhow, but then the long tip end, it's way the hell up there, but it feels awkward. It's up there, but that's just to get the same amount of movement as what this has, you know. It's ridiculous. So now the problem is, though, that's what I don't like about this radio. I could compromise. I don't like their layout of having the latching button right here, because when you go to hit it, you're hitting this one and this one. You know, you might turn that if you don't want to turn it, but it just, this is in the way of that. I wish they would have swapped them. They should have been the opposite. Or had this button taller up out so you can push it without touching the scroll wheel. So that was just a little awkward. I didn't like that, but it wasn't it didn't make the radio no go for me. It's the gimbals. Actually, I had the Radio Master here, and I did some measuring up. The nano gimbals will fit in the Bumblebee. Now, the problem is you have to rewire and put a new plug, which I got all that too. I just never did the job. I'm not going to do it now because I got the whole new radio. But what I have heard through the grapevine, you got to rewire these to go to a jumper and they'll work. But it seems like everybody that has done that, every few months they burn out the sensors. The Radio Master sensors, they must run off a different voltage or something. The signal's correct, but apparently, you know, these must be like 3-volt sensors, and these must be 5-volt. You know, it's got to be something like that, 3.3 volt and 5 volt, and it's just the sensor eventually gets tired and burns out. So that's the only thing I can figure out. Infinity Loops, the heads from Infinity Loops talks about it all the time. I follow his channel, but he puts the AG01s in the T-Lite. And I was going to do the same thing, measured it all up. The only thing I was going to have to do was I'll take my Dremel tool, the cutoff wheel, and I would cut into these on the corner just to make these holes more of a slot shape, because the hole pattern is slightly different, but it would still screw down and be perfectly fine. So I'm not going to do that modification. These were fairly, I think I paid like, I think they were like $20 or something like that for 2 of them. I can't remember the exact price. So I'll just throw them on eBay or whatever, and if somebody that needs the sensors or whatever. So I think the sensors are probably the same. You just pull that one off and put it on the an AG01, I would assume. But anyhow, or if somebody broke their gimbal, whatever, dropped the radio like I was talking about before. So, but yeah, I measured them, that movement, and the movement on this. I've used these radios and they're just fine. I can live with the nano gimbals as long as they have enough definition and movement. Movement wise, I mean, the movement is all about the same. For some reason, apparently the jumper sensors are just a little bit of a different definition. Just like the rotation, these work on an axis. If the axis went all the way around 360 degrees, if there's a cog, for every time the number changes as you go up, it just seems like this one needs to have a little bit more movement. I found I crashed more with this radio, and I was just a lot more like all over the place. I wasn't as locked in feeling when I would fly with this radio. After weeks of flying, I just couldn't get used to this radio. So I'm hoping that I will not have any problems with this. I did fly it on a sim, and it seemed to be okay. So I'm happy with that. I'm not sure about what this module is. That's something I need to figure out also, is if that is for like just a different style module. I don't know if this replaces this or if you plug it in this and need that for power. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I will figure that out. I have like FR Sky and 4-in-1 nano module I could snap on there and play around with it. Just trying to think of what else. And this has been my daily driver for the longest time. Now these are the stick-ins that I like. These things really, your skin just really sticks to it. A lot of people hate these because it'll actually cut their skin up. I just don't think they're putting enough pressure or something. I don't know. I go out all the time, fly for maybe 8 hours all day long. I'll burn like 20, 30 packs in a day, and more than that. I think one time I think it was like 50. I think I went through in about an 8-hour period. Just different sizes. I got a lot of batteries, but anyhow, yeah. So this was my daily. I love this thing. The only issue with this radio is I wish I had a couple more channels. That's it. It's perfect for just a basic drone flying, but once you get into needing some, now I could sacrifice like the modes and on it, and set up a drone just so that instead of this being modes, do like a GPS return or something if I needed to. And then with the Mox and an antenna, that's kind of one thing. I don't know what this antenna is. Now this is a 500 watt radio, which is double that of the Pocket, and so is this. This is 500 milliwatt, and I know a Moxon antenna, man, it gives you a lot of range with the 2.4, but I don't know what kind of antenna that is. I'm kind of curious about that too. And these questions I have, if anybody knows, please just go ahead and leave me a comment to tell me. That would be awesome. But yeah, like there's several things I'm kind of curious about, like the module, the module connections, the antenna, what kind of range I can expect from that, and I forget what the third thing was that I was saying I would update later. But trying to think what else I was wanting to do. I was wanting to bring up. Oh, see here. I got a piece of paper. I wrote a bunch of stuff down. I'm not sure if I can't remember if I talked about it yet or not about that source guy. They, I think I did, but I got this. This came unsealed because Source Guy actually flashed it over to Express LRS for me, which is awesome. They asked me about it. I'm pretty sure I did say that. I remember saying it now. So I have no desire to use Flysky's protocol. Their receivers are just too expensive. When I can buy the nano receivers for like $10 on AliExpress and they work fantastic, I'll just stick with them. I don't know how much the Flysky receivers are. They're usually like $20 or so. I know I was looking to get an FLI 14 Plus, and those things are like $18 now. So, but anywho, if you're wondering why I got so many radios, because I build and sell drones on the side to support my own hobby. I only sell a handful of them a year, but just occasionally when I get a little side time, but I'll put this with like a used drone because it's a used radio type deal, and I pick up used goggles and stuff so that I can sell like as a full kit. Several of these are just going to be bind and fly radio, and they'll have to buy their own goggles because I can't find goggles cheap anymore at all. I bought a bunch of them at one time that I was getting for $25 for a set of box goggles. They actually worked pretty good. They didn't have all the channels because they came with the drones, but apparently they had a bunch of returns because the drones were no good. So they just sold off the goggles on the side. So I bought a bunch of them, but I'm out of those and I can't get them no more. So, but anyhow, this video got pretty long. I just kind of wanted to go over a few things that I noticed some other guys missed that were doing reviews on this. I might be doing some shorts and stuff on it later. But anyways, hope you all have some happy rippings out there later.